Well, hello everybody, welcome back. It's another Q&A Wednesday. I think that's what I called it, or was it QA Wednesday? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, it's another one, and we're going to get straight on into it. So let's roll the credits, let's boot up the phone, let's crack on. So the first one this week is, hi Dan, regarding your choice of sites, I don't think I've seen from any of the CAMCs, that's the Caravan Motorhome Club, CLs. I'd be interested to know why the official big sites feature so heavily, and if you have any plans to feature any CL sites. That's a great question. We do use a lot of CL sites. You just don't see them. There is a time and a place where we just say, do you know what, let's go away, it's just for us. And we're not going to share anything online. It's just for us to do what we want to do. No cameras, no social media, no inclusion of you along on our adventures. And also, like many CL users, we like to keep our favourite ones secret so that they don't always end up overbooked. It's a queer thing, isn't it, about certificated locations, that when you find one you love, you, generally speaking, don't tell anybody about it because, like I said, you want to keep it to yourself. It's a very strange thing, but we do use them quite a lot. We just don't talk about them. If you're wondering, by the way, what is a CL or certificated location or certified site, I think it is for the other club, I did a video some time ago explaining what they are and how to get the best use of them, etc., and how to find them and how to book them. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link to that video down below and also in the top corner. But the headlines are, they are small sites with a maximum of 5 caravans, or for the other club, it's 5 units and 20 tents, I think it is, or 20 tents. Anyway, there is a limit to the number of units that you can have on one of these sites. They're owned by members of the Caravan and Motorhome Club site, and they offer a wide variety of features. If you think of it this way, the main sites are a bit like your Premier Inn. You know exactly what you're going to get at every single site. It's pretty standardised, maybe a slight little difference here and there, but by and large you know exactly what you're going to get wherever you go. Think of a CL or a CS as a boutique hotel. A little bit quirky, very different, no two are the same. The range of prices reflects the range of facilities and location, and by and large you can go on holiday at CL for a lot less than if you go to a main site. For the most part, this year we've booked mainly big sites because it's our first year touring with this 8-foot wide caravan. I don't know what I'm going to be like getting into little farmyards, so we've played it safe this year. We've played it very, very safe, and we have booked mainly big sites. However, that being said, next month, being April, we are actually off to a CL with our friends, and I most definitely will not be sharing any of the highlights from that, because I can guarantee you it's going to get a little bit, well, it's between friends, isn't it? This is a really quick one to answer. Regarding the wall-mounted TV, do you leave it on the wall when travelling or stow it away? Right, I know that you may have seen it in this caravan. We've actually got 2 mounting points. We've actually got 2 TVs here in this caravan, which we can mount them to the wall. We never leave them attached because they can jump off. So what we do is we put them away. Now, our main TV here, which is an Avtex 22-inch, I think it is, our main TV has the soundbar attached. I've asked questions about that as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. But our main TV is here. It's a 22-inch. It's got an Avtex bar underneath it. That one goes away in the Avtex hard case. It's like a suitcase, and then that gets put away underneath the bed. The one in the bedroom has no soundbar attached to it, and we wrap that up in a towel and then we place it underneath the pillows on the bed. And so far so good. That hasn't moved around, hasn't jumped out, hasn't done anything like that. So we always take them off. We always wrap them up to protect the screens, and we always make sure that they're nice and safe. Now the second part of that question is, I mentioned our main TV here in the caravan with the soundbar to it, and I have had recently, since Cirencester video, we've had questions about how did I mount that soundbar to the TV. Well, it's incredibly simple. That Avtex soundbar when I bought it, it came with an adapter, a little angled metal piece which screws to the back of the soundbar, and then that screws to the mounting plate at the back where the stand would have attached to the back of the unit. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So if you buy the Avtech soundbar, which I must admit is very, very good, it's probably one of the better soundbars that I've had here in the caravan. If you buy that, you get that little adapter plate to mount it to an Avtech TV. Okay, this one is a good one because I've been asked this one a few times in a few ways. So let's see if we can answer this one. Hi Dan, best advice for loading a caravan for travel for a quicker setup upon arrival. Also, any advice on finding a 3.9 kilo gas bottle alternative to Calor? I don't think you need to worry about that anymore because I think Calor are bringing back the 3.9 bottles. So don't worry, I think you're going to be okay there. Interesting question about having the caravan set up for a quicker setup when you arrive. Up until we got this van, our setup was anywhere between 25 and 35 minutes once we were literally unhitched. Angela and I play the game where we unhitch the car and then that's it, we're off, we separate, and she goes off and does what she thinks she needs to do, and I go off and pretend that I'm working really hard. And generally speaking, it's 25 to 35 minutes. The reason why it was so quick was we used to keep the food and the clothing in the car. I come up here the morning that we're heading off, especially if it's a quick weekend, and I do all of the running around the caravan. So I check the tyre pressures, the torques, I put the towing cover on, and I come in here and I make sure that everything is in the right place for towing. In this caravan, everything is down by the bed, everything is pushed down there. And then it's generally ready to go. The only thing we need to do is when we arrive to head off is lift the steadies, take the security off, put the tow bar on the car, hitch up and head off. That's really it. So we can be out of the storage yard within 15 minutes from turning up. When we arrive, like I said, it doesn't take us long to set up. And the reason for that is because, point one, there's two of us. So Angela usually does all the stuff inside, like putting the clothes away, putting the food away, flipping the yellow tap in here, setting the heating going, turning the fridge on, you know, just generally everything inside. Meanwhile, I am outside doing all the services. So the first thing that, once we are on the pitch, we're level, the steadies are down, Angela comes in here and the first thing she does is hand me the aqua roll, which we keep inside. In the Ridgeway, it was the aqua roll, the Wastemaster and the power cable, where I couldn't get to it. So she would hand those out to me, and then I would have everything I need to just complete all the tasks outside. And then I would go off, I would do the water, I would fill up the aqua roll, fill up the watering can as well at the same time, bring that back, set up the waste, and then go on to the toilet. I start in the process of doing the cleanest of the cleans, the greys and then the blacks. That's the way I work it. On this caravan it's really nice because we've got all the services down this side of the van, so I start at the beginning and I progressively work down each thing down the side. So I plug in the electric, I get the water sorted, I get the gas switched on, I then do the waste and then do the toilet. That's the way I work in a very progressive manner. On the Ridgeway it was the same thing, the only difference was the power cable was on the other side. And that's it. And then I come inside, Angela by then has usually finished doing what she's doing and she's just putting some of the knickknacks out, and then I bleed the water, tune the TV, switch on the heating, and that's it. And like I said, it doesn't take us very long. When I go away and I do it myself, if I go away with the caravan by myself, it doesn't take that much longer, to be honest with you, because the only extra things I need to do if I'm doing it by myself is just to put the food and the clothes away, and that's it. It often does make me wonder what exactly Angela is doing in here when she says she's busy. But anyway, there you are. Dan, what is your biggest regret or mistake whilst owning a caravan? I know exactly what our biggest regret is, and I can tell you what my biggest mistake was. The biggest regret really is not buying a caravan earlier and sooner, and doing this for longer. That's my biggest regret. we, like so many other newcomers, when we started caravanning, the first thing we said, and it seems to be a mantra amongst newcomers, is why didn't we do this earlier? Why didn't we do this sooner? And that's my biggest regret, actually, because I look at Tom, and when we started caravanning, he was what, I don't know, what, 16, 17? You know, he was old enough. And he never really experienced the freedom of just being able to go and make random friends from people on the campsite, play in the park, mingle, mix, socialise, try, you know, do all the things that I used to do on a campsite when I was younger, and all the things that Chloe did when we used to go away with her. You know, mingle with people, make friends, hang out, socialise, play games, run around the campsite annoying everybody, you know, like what children do. And that is my biggest regret, that he never got to experience that. He experienced it in a very different way. He experienced it as in that sort of weird handover period of being a child to an adult, you know, that teen element where he doesn't quite fit in with the kids and he doesn't quite fit in with the adults. He experienced it then. So I think he had a great time because he was able to do stuff with me, he was able to do stuff with his mum, and then he could then go and do stuff with Chloe. And so he had a great time in the, you know, the few years that he did come away with us. That's my biggest regret. My biggest mistake was leaving the corner steady down whilst moving the caravan around with a motor mover and bending the leg on the back of that caravan. So to put in context, we were going on holiday to North Wales and the traffic was awful, and it took 7 hours to get to the campsite, by which time I was shattered. Now the pitch that we were on was shaped like that, so it wasn't straight, and I had put the caravan in straight against one side, but when you looked at the other, it was not straight to the other side. In fact, I've got a picture of how the caravan was set up in the end, and you can see that the car that we had then, the caravan, they were just not quite in line. So when Angela wanted to put the awning up, we were struggling to get it level, you know, straight, and she wanted it straight to one side, and I said no, it's got to be straight to this side, and we were having a bit of a back and forth. So I said, okay, well, let's put the mover on and let's just swing the caravan round until you know, you're happy with it, maybe halfway between the two. So I put the motor mover on, which back then was a bit faff because the isolation key was inside, and I was tired. I was in my own space. I heard Angela raising the corner steadies at the back, and I started moving the caravan. And then Angela, instead of making a scene on a campsite, she was doing that very beautiful thing that she does, which is just silent sign language. You know, she was going. To which I thought, what are you going on about, you stupid woman? To realise that she hadn't lifted the other leg up, and I was moving the caravan, swinging it on the spot, and it literally bent the corner steady. It was okay, it was still alright. It was a bit stiff, but it still worked. We sold that caravan with that leg like that, and none the wiser. In fact, it went through 4 services after that. No one ever picked up a problem with it, but it was bent. That was my biggest mistake. Right, and there we go. That's the end of this week's Q&A Wednesday. Many thanks for everybody that supplied the questions. I enjoyed answering them. Nice variety there. So there we are. Please do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon. If you can do all of that, then you'll be able to see what this week's video is going to be coming out at the end of the week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.